Hello everyone, welcome to the channel, to new video, and today we are going to watch how a master tier Korean player plays Hwei. This is a new champion, as you know, so there are no mainers, no OTP players. This is why we are just going to watch how a master tier player is going to play him. Right now Hwei is played on 3 positions. He is played on the mid lane and on the bottom lane as a support and also with a support. But at every position he has quite a humble win rate that fluctuates from 30 to 35%. But I think this is because the champion is quite hard. Oh my god, Senna just brought first blood to Akali. So this lane is going to be harder for Hwei because Akali gets a free kill. She buys Dark Seal. Well, Hwei is quite a hard champion. He has 10 skills, 10 abilities. And what you need is not only to learn what ability actually does what, but you have to learn right combinations. And I mean, you should learn it like physical memory, you know. Your hands should press right buttons when your brain gives a command. For example, when I try to play this champion, sometimes I think about one specific ability, but my hands press another one, and it just makes a chaos, makes a mess. To me it was quite hard to play this champion. I understand that we should learn and train our muscle memory if we want to play him well, and it requires some time, of course. But if you practice him, if you continue to practice, I think everything is going to be okay. The champion is kind of artillery mage, you know, like Lux, N0Т, etc. I tried to zoom out a little bit. Yeah. So I think from this angle we will watch, we will see his abilities better. His Q gives him access to some fire abilities with percentage damage, with high range or massive damage. His W is kind of a support ability that can accelerate our champion and our allies as well, can bring us shields, or can give a boost to Hwei's auto attacks. He can deal more damage by auto attacks and restore his mana. And by speaking about mana, this champion is really mana hungry. Even when you have your first mythic item that brings you 600 mana, and when your mana flow band fully charged, when you have eaten all the cookies, nevertheless, it's still not enough mana sometimes when you spam it. Okay, this was quite a danger moment for Akali. She has lost almost all her HP. But Hwei has no mana. Almost. Well, his mana flow band almost fully stacked, so maybe it's not going to be a problem for him. And he also will go back to buy items. He almost has 1000 gold. I think he will be able to buy Lost Chapter. But I even thought that maybe it's a good idea to buy Seraph Embrace for him, Tear of the Goddess, just to increase overall mana pool. Okay, this is a gank by Jarvan. Gladly Jarvan has no ult, as well as Akali. Hwei is quite an immobile champion, this is why he is vulnerable to ganks. You have no flashes, jumps, something like that. The only thing that you have is some slight movement acceleration when you use your WQ. You paint like a river, and when you move through this river, you have some movement speed acceleration. But it's not enough to be saved from a gank. This is why we should put wards. We have to constantly watch the minimap to see the enemy jungler coming. And also, I think it's quite a good idea to destroy minions as fast as possible and move to safety. If you already played some artillery mage champions, I think you know the idea how you should position yourself to not be killed by enemy junglers or some assassins, because assassins they can threaten your champion by attacking him from behind or from side lanes, like moving from walls, doing some sudden attacks. Hwei is a mage artillery cannon champion, so he does quite decent damage. He has lots of crowd control. He can apply fear to his enemies, he can root them, or he can pull them together. But the most important thing for him is to keep the distance, to not allow enemies to come close to him, because his HP bar is quite low. He also has low armor or magic resist. I remember a game when I played against Qiyana, I was successful early on, but when Qiyana had like 2 items, she had Ghost Blade of Yomu, and when she used few of her dashes, a flash, and then I was killed quite immediately. Because sometimes, you know, it doesn't feel... Actually, I didn't feel difference when I had like half of my HP or 100% of HP. It was only a matter how many buttons my enemy had to press to kill me. Like, if you have 20 or 30% HP, your enemy, if you play against an assassin, he has to play maybe 1 or 2 buttons. But if you have like 100% HP, the enemy can still kill you, but he just has to use maybe his ult and press all his buttons. But nevertheless, you are going to be dead if you have no additional HP or some protective items. And speaking about items, we can build Hwei in 2 different ways. Right now we are going to watch how Korean Master builds a burst damage build with Ludens and also with Sorcerer Shoes. But we also can build something for burning enemies, like 2 masks, Liandry's and Demonic Embrace, or we can buy Relay Crystal Scepter to get additional control, crowd control, since most of Hwei's abilities, they have massive damage, they can hit multiple targets at once. Then Relay Crystal Scepter can also frozen and slow down multiple targets as well, right? So this is why this item can also be useful for us, and moreover it brings additional HP, which also good. Yeah, we need sometimes, I think, if we play against a team with mobile assassins, we need something that gives us protection. For example, this player is going to buy Zhonya's Hourglass that can buy 2.5 seconds of invulnerability for us. The most important thing is to have allies nearby that can help to do something while we are in the stasis form. Hwei has to be careful because Akali has her ult. She has 2 kills, Hextech Alternator and Dark Seal with 2 charges. Now he moves to the top lane. There is Aatrox with low HP. Okay, Akali is also here. Lots of crowd control. He used his ult on Akali and she was killed by it. Now we see how he uses his fire bolts. It's a QW combination. This ability that you can see, this animation right now, this ability has the biggest range. And it feels like Kog'Maw's ult. Have you ever played Kog'Maw Mage on the mid lane, guys? I like to play sometimes Kog'Maw as a mage, full HP Kog'Maw on the mid lane, and spam ults on them. And Hwei's QW ability, this fire bolt, how it's called? It's called Severin Bolt. This ability feels exactly as Kog'Maw's ult. Just the same mechanics, and what you need is to learn how to land this ability accurately, because it has some short delay. This is why sometimes you should use this ability by using prediction. You should predict where your target is going to be in next second, like about 1 second, I think. And of course it's hard to land his abilities on mobile champions. You see, he misses lots of his abilities, but hey, who lands all of them without ever missing one? But gladly for Hwei, he has lots of abilities and quite short cooldowns. This is why it's not a problem for him. If you have missed one ability, it's not a problem at all. You can use it second time. And speaking about items, once again, I prefer to play with the mask, Liandry's. Because if you want to play the build with high burst damage, it's better to play if everything goes well for you. You have some kills or assists, or you have a good farm. So you have enough gold to buy items that will allow you to buy more items for ability power. So your burst damage would actually burst your enemies, right? Your bursting build has to really burst enemies, and for that purpose you need lots of ability power. And sometimes it's quite a hard goal to achieve, especially when you just started to learn this champion. To my opinion, for beginners it's easier to play with the mask, because with the mask you don't need lots of items to deal damage, because the mask deals also percentage damage in percentages of enemy maximum HP bar. And if I play with this item, I prefer to get Ionia's boots instead of Sorcerer's shoes, because I need the ability to spam my abilities as often as possible to burn the enemies. And if the game goes wrong for you, like you have no kills and less damage than most of enemy champions, it's also a nice idea to buy something to be useful for your team, like Relay, to have additional crowd control, or Morel Nomicon to apply grievous wounds. So what I like about Hwei is this champion can be useful even if something goes wrong for him. If you suck and you play like with 0-10 score. It's like Kale, for example. Even if you failed your... Now he applied fear to Akali to deny her teleport. Nice. So she is not able to help her teammates. However, Hwei also has teleport but doesn't use it to teleport to his allies. He has to be careful because Akali has her ult and he also has flash. I also expect that maybe Riots are going to give a slight buff to Hwei, you know, for a short period of time, when they will wait until players will learn how to play this champion. They will build their muscle memory, and then he will probably be nerfed. I saw it a couple of times when they said, okay, we see that most of the player base, they have learned to play this champion, they have found the best builds and runes, and now we move back some buffs that we gave him like a week or 2 weeks ago. So maybe Hwei will receive some buffs in the next patch, but then these buffs will be moved back. He will try to destroy this tower while his team and the enemy team are on the top side of the map. However, Akali can be nearby. She can try to surround him. It was not easy to find the game. In most games that I found, Hwei had lots of deaths. I try to find the games when the player doesn't look bad, when he doesn't die much, too many times. But it's hard. Despite the champion has quite a decent range in his skills, but if you play against the good enemies, they try to go from the back, they try to attack you from the side lanes. Playing as an artillery champion doesn't mean that you will not die at all. And especially in League of Legends, where lots of champions have some kinds of dashes and other movements. It's really hard to keep the distance to stay safe. Nocturne is going to fly in. Okay, Ezreal is dead, and they are going to get this dragon. Aatrox is on the top lane. He's 0-5 and he's not going to do a teleport here, probably. But the score is equal. The blue team has some slight advantage, but it's not that big. What I really like about this champion, it's lots of abilities, and I like to play artillery champions sometimes. However, I don't like to die. I don't like to feed champions, but sometimes it's really hard to not feed when you play a glass cannon champion. It depends on the enemy team. Sometimes you play against such enemy teams where there are no champions like Akali or other champs that can attack you from a side lane or from the back. But usually there are a few champions that can get you. This is why we should be really careful when we play Hwei and when we decide to move to the bottom lane or to the top lane. Those lanes are longer, and if we go far away from the nearest allied tower, we are always in danger, especially if we have no wards. Enemies can hunt us down. They can just use Fog of War to come closer to our champion, and then it's a little and small chance to escape a sudden attack, because Hwei has low movement speed. So it's really hard to escape against champions with higher movement speed. It's only possible if we land crowd control into the enemy, if we root them or apply fear, and then we accelerate ourselves by using our WQ ability. That is called Fleeting Current. Senna is in trouble. We wanted to apply fear on Heimerdinger. Heimer is in Zonias. Now Hwei is using his fireballs. He uses double Qs, and when the range is high, then he uses QW. He uses fireballs. Double Q has higher damage, but QW fireballs, they have longer range. So this is why when we stay closer to the enemy, now we see how he applied fear and used firebolt. So it's really important to quickly assess the situation and decide which abilities are the best for you. I remember that my brain was overloaded when I played Hwei, because it's really hard. You should watch and notice lots of things. You should watch position of your champions, of the enemy champions, of their abilities. You should remember about your correct positioning and stay in the back line. Then you should try to decide what is the best decision right now. Should you apply crowd control on your enemies, or maybe you should do damage, or maybe you can try to save your allies and apply shield on them. So there are so many choices when you play this champion, so it's so hard to decide. When you just started to play him, it's so hard to decide. I felt how my brain was overloaded by this multiple choice, and when you think what is better to do right now, you can just miss the moment. The right moment can be gone while you were thinking what is best. And what is really sad, it's when you decide finally what is the best to do. At the moment you press wrong buttons and your champion uses another ability. This is a really sad fail. Now we see the second time Hwei uses his fear to deny enemies teleport, but this is really dangerous to fight Aatrox in a melee range. Despite Aatrox is 1-7, he's still a dangerous opponent in a melee range. Okay, so right now blue team has 3 dragons. They have destroyed 5 towers. The red team destroyed 3. Well, still, the blue team has a slight advantage overall in gold, in dragons, in towers. But it's still comebackable for the red team. Hwei has the teleport and he uses it. But Jarvan has stolen the Baron, oh my god. Nice, good job and well played by Jarvan. Hwei is coming to help Poppy, but I think Poppy can beat Aatrox 1v1 if we look at their score. Hwei just came to get some gold. Because why not? Even if you can get an assist. There is a fight in the bottom lane. Nocturne is trying to get Ezreal. Jarvan tried to save him by his ult. Meanwhile, Hwei is pushing on the mid lane. All enemy champions are down, except of Aatrox. But Aatrox is not able to protect this tower. 1 against 3. Not this Aatrox, not with this score. I like those champions that are still useful even the game goes bad for them, like Hwei. Nice, he killed Akali by ult. Actually, it's a nice combination if you play Hwei, especially with the burst damage build. You should apply... uh-oh, he's surrounded. His allies nearby. Jarvan, oh, Jarvan was stunned by Poppy. Nice saving. But someone is coming, it's Aatrox. Okay, all his team is destroyed. Hwei has just few HP. He has to run to the tower because Aatrox is hunting. For example, Aatrox is that kind of champion that I don't like, because if your early game was bad, then you are going to be useful most of the time, most probably, without chances to come back and become useful. But Hwei, he can be useful all the game because of his utility and his control abilities. Hwei, it's not only about damage. It's about utility and crowd control as well. So if your game goes well, you can be a carry, ability power carry champion for your team. But even if the game goes wrong, you should not be sad and surrender. Yeah, you can play, especially if you see that you have someone in your team who can carry you. Then you should not surrender and still trying. Okay, Jarvan has escaped, but it doesn't matter since the blue team can get 4th dragon and they are going to get the dragon soul right now. This is the most important. Hwei has to be careful because in the enemy team there are Jarvan that can attack from a side lane, from a wall, like now. He was frightened, but it was really dangerous. I have thought that maybe Jarvan would use his combo with his ult. Also, Akali has lots of dashes. She's dangerous for Hwei. And Ezreal with his blinks and long ranged abilities. This is really amazing that this Hwei has 0 deaths so far by playing against such a team with those champions. It's hard. It's really hard when you have only 2,500 HP. He bought Horizon Focus. His next item is going to be Rabadon's Death Cap and maybe Void Staff, just to increase his burst damage. And this Fire Reef that he uses is a good ability to clean waves as fast as possible. We see that he uses it just twice and the minion wave is destroyed. Nice timing! He's in Zonia. Oh shit. Ezreal has earned 1000 gold, but I think it's not going to save his team. Despite Hwei has died and gave 1000 gold to the enemy team, he died in the late game when it's almost over. So I don't think it's going to make a big difference. Now he has Rabadon's Death Cap and 1 slot left. I would buy Void Stuff for this build, for burst damage. So now the blue team just has to group up and finish the game. They have super minions, the enemy team has just 1 tower left. One good team fight and the blue team will win it. Or they can try to wait until Baron appears or Elden Dragon, just to secure the victory. And Aatrox is down, so it's not going to be a fight 5v5. It's going to be 5v4. The best time to finish the game. Hwei applied fear to Ezreal. He tried to apply fear on Jarvan as well, but the timing was not as good as before this time. Now he applied it. And fireball to Jarvan. Jarvan is dead. But hey, the red team, they have defended their base. So the game will go on. And this is not the end. However, it's a very difficult situation for the red team. They have to protect their throne, their base against lots of super minions, and the blue team can use this time just to get the dragon. Ezreal tries to get this alone, but he has no chance since Poppy is here, she has smite. But whoa, 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 this Ezreal is quite strong. Uh-oh. This is bad. Poppy is going to die. Poppy! She fights for her life. She runs for her life. Hwei is here to save her. But the enemy team stopped chasing. However, Hwei is in danger. 1 HP! He survives! Ah! Heimerdinger. What a rat. This Heimer. But GG. Hwei died 3 times, but like 2 times. Let's pretend we didn't see this last death. It was accidental. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I wish you best of luck by playing this champion, and also have a nice day. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to not lose it in the future. I would be glad to build my first community and start streaming for you. I also would be glad to read your comments, and see you in next video. Bye bye.